if a player makes a mistake in like the 10th minute, their team gets scored on, whatever. But then they're thinking about that for the next 80 minutes of the game. Like, they're not going to be effective.
They're done for.
Yeah.
Right. And in pro, college, ball, like even some of these national platforms, once you get subbed off, you're subbed off for the rest of the half.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Talk at Elevation. I'm Mikayla with Adisyn, and today's guest is Lexi Rudolph, a soccer coach and player development leader recognized as a United Soccer Coaches 30 Under 30 honoree. After working across elite youth and semi-pro programs, she's now launching her own company, Circle Futbol, focused on supporting athletes, especially female players, in areas like injury prevention, mental performance, and navigating the demands of club soccer. Let's dive into her journey and what inspired this next chapter, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, Lexi, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy you could make it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's start at the beginning. How did the love for soccer start?
I am one of 5 kids.
Okay.
So me and my siblings were always outside playing games. My dad and mom were both athletes. My dad was an amateur boxer and weightlifter, so we were just like always
training,
always
doing
doing
stuff.
things. Yeah. And I started soccer a little later than my friends in elementary school, but I just had a knack for being a goalkeeper and diving around, and that was my favorite part. And then I ended up being the only kid that wanted to do that.
So there you go.
I stuck with it. So yeah, with soccer over the years has been a thing that's given me a lot of joy, obviously a lot of friendships, opportunities to travel the world and meet new people, see different things. But the thing that I love about it and that the reason I've stuck with it is because the community is always so strong, right? Like coaches, players, even just fans, it's a thing that brings everybody together. And, you know, if I ever need anything, I know I can always call my soccer people and get whatever I need.
Exactly. The love of the game keeps everyone really tight.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your career before Circle Futbol and what ultimately pushed you away to step away from that and start this.
Oh boy. Yeah. So I grew up in Maryland outside the DC area. So I played club and like school soccer there. And then I played college soccer in Baltimore at Goucher College for 5 years. Sorry, I redshirted 1 year. And then stayed in the area, coach college, coach youth soccer. And then moved to California for a little bit.
Nice.
Completely opposite side of the world.
Yeah, opposite side of the world. California was not my vibe, but that was okay.
Yep.
And then ended up in Colorado and started coaching almost as soon as I got here.
Wow. So full circle. You were like,
it was
bing,
literally
bing,
all over
let's
the
go.
place. Yeah, I played in Australia for a little bit when I studied abroad there too.
Oh,
So I was
wow.
just all over the place.
Oh, cool. Tell us a little bit about that. How is it different than playing in the U.S.?
Oh, I really liked it because it wasn't as structured as youth soccer in the U.S. I was in college at the time, obviously, so it was more of like an amateur women's team, but even the club scene there wasn't like, you know, you're training 3 days a week and you're going to all these tournaments and doing all that stuff. It was a lot more open and kids could do other things, try other things. And not that they can't do that here, but I think soccer was just growing a little bit more there. They were in a different phase when I was there about, 10 years ago. But it was fun. Like you'd play your game and then you'd go out with everybody and, you know, just have a good time. There were always barbecues at the game. So it was a chill environment, but it was a lot of fun.
Sorry. I was just going to ask what the soccer culture is like here in the U.S. compared to like outside of the U.S.
Ooh, that's a great question. Speaking from my experience, so I've seen soccer culture obviously in Australia, and then I was just in Italy with the ODP national team program. I think soccer in the U.S. is organized at a much earlier stage than it is in other countries.
Yeah, because they don't have high school sports.
No.
And stuff, which is crazy.
No, they don't have high school sports. And there's also this, I think, just cultural element in other countries. Like I work with somebody from Brazil, and he's always talking about how kids in Brazil don't play organized soccer like 11v11 until they're 13 or 14. Like until then, they just stay in their communities. Like they play a lot of street ball, they play a lot of futsal. And I think that's really cool from a development perspective because then kids can just be creative and like there's no pressure to win so early on. And like you figure out what you like, what you don't like, how are you good on the ball, maybe what position you like the most. So I do appreciate that about other countries.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
focuses more on the sport than like the lose-win mentality.
Yeah.
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 So you've talked about filling the gaps in player development. What are some of those gaps, and how have you focused that more on, women and girls growing up through soccer?
Yeah. This idea kind of came to me from my own player journey. When I was I was a sophomore in high school, so it was spring 2010. I was playing in a club game, and I had a history of just like shin splints, leg tightness, whatever. And I got hit in the leg when I was coming out to make a 1v1 save. And the injury itself developed into compartment syndrome.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, it wasn't caught early enough. So I ended up having 14 surgeries on my right leg over 18 months, and I was out for obviously a really long time. Missed my junior year of high school, started playing again late into my senior year, probably like September, October-ish of my senior year. Thankfully, I was able to still get recruited, but then developed the same injury in my left leg.
Oh, my gosh.
After my freshman year of college. It was literally after the last game of our season. And it was tough. And like, I look back on those two like different rehab periods and like, what didn't I have? I didn't have somebody to help me with like the mental performance, like fear of coming back. I didn't really have, obviously when I was in college, it was a little different, but we didn't have like a sports performance person there to help with the deficits that I developed. Like I did a little bit in physical therapy, but then after physical therapy was done, I like had to figure it out on my own. And then just being a coach and playing at a high level and watching other girls, just like there wasn't a ton of emphasis on like collectively, how do we keep girls healthy, right? And then since I've been coaching, there's just been an astronomical rise in ACL tears in female players, especially like all over the globe too. Like I saw a stat, I'm not going to remember it now, but like the English women's professional league, right? They're dealing with a ton of ACL tears. And then obviously U.S. national team players continue to tear their ACLs, like Kayla Duran.
Right.
She plays for Gotham FC. She just tore her ACL a couple weeks ago
Oh, man.
in a game. So
It's so common. You see it everywhere.
right.
Too.
Right. So it's tough that it's common, right? And I think some people just accept that it's a risk of the game now.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has to be.
No.
So that kind of my own injury, and then obviously my experience with players getting ACL tears, plus just thinking about how my development journey could have been different or what I would have wanted it to look like. And talking to parents of these girls too that are in such elite environments, right? There's emphasis on my kid just needs help, like staying out of her own way, like getting out of her head, or like, soccer practices focus a lot on tactical things or game strategy, but where's the emphasis on, how to help the kids get more athletic so they can perform those things.
Right.
And right now, parents just have to kind of find it on their own, or if you're lucky enough to be at a club that provides it or a high school that provides it, that's great, but that's
Rare.
not the rule. That's the exception right now.
Before we move on, let's talk about something every serious athlete needs to pay attention to: your digital footprint. Fan-Day Nation has just released a powerful new tool to help athletes make sure their social media profiles are fully optimized and recruit ready. Today, coaches aren't just evaluating game film, they're evaluating character, leadership, and maturity online. This resource gives you a step-by-step roadmap to clean up your profiles, highlight your strengths, and avoid common mistakes that can cost opportunities. If playing at the next level is your goal, don't leave your online presence to chance. Go check it out now at fandaynation.com. Right. Well, I know all about ACL tears. I've had both mine done. So, but just going into that, like injury prevention, what's the first step these athletes can take, especially in your program, to just stop from this happening? Like what
Being it's so common.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say I'm obviously not a sports scientist, but I took like a short sports performance class a couple years ago with some soccer people through United Soccer Coaches, and one of the things they said about ACL tears is that part of why it happens is because your central nervous system is overloaded, right? So you're doing too much, so then the signaling between your brain and the muscles just isn't as strong or isn't working as well as it should be to help protect the ACLs and prevent those things from happening. I'm probably oversimplifying it, but just in my talking with other folks too, in like the sports medicine world, I think there just needs to be a greater emphasis on the whole athlete, right? The nutrition, the sleeping. Are you warming up properly? Are you recovering properly? Are you taking rest days when you need to and not overtraining? And it's different. It's going to be different for every athlete, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's where they have to reflect with their parents and really be intentional about what they're doing.
For sure.
And what does that kind of look like in your program? Like, how are you setting that up? How are you getting the schedules in, the performance when you need it, and then, the rest days, like you said?
Yeah, so we are in our work, in our program, so we have a couple of different options, right? But the program that I'm most excited about is we're calling it our Full Circle Development Program. You can either do a 3-month program or 6 months, depending on your lifestyle and the demands of your sport. But essentially, it's one small group training a week. You get a film, a tactical analysis every other week, IDP once a month, so an individual development plan. And then every week or every other week, you can go into Primal Gym, which is located in like the Northfield area of Aurora. We're partnering with them, and then they'll develop programs for the athletes that go in there. So it's very specific. It's about an hour long. They'll do some activation things, some lifts, obviously work on speed, agility, those types of things. And we're also trying to develop a way for them to come out to us as well if kids can't get to Northfield, if they live in like South Denver or something like that. But it's all about balance, right? And then we'll work with Jess from Cognelite as well for the mental performance part of it too. But really, the training that we're doing and what we're trying to offer is something that is done in moderation to help them balance, right? Like you can do all these things, you can do more, you can do less if you want, but at least you're getting a little bit of something that helps develop the entire athlete and not just, the soccer player.
Right.
Exactly. There's different parts for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. I wanted to ask a little bit about like club soccer in general and what you think of it, and like how do you think that environment is impacting young players like mentally and physically, because it is so demanding.
Yeah, it's really demanding. That's a really good question. Club soccer is interesting because I was towards the end of my club soccer career when ECNL became big, and then obviously there's GA, there was the DA before that. And I think just because of my injuries, I was never super part of it, which like maybe kept my love for the game a little stronger than it was, but than for some. But yeah, that's a really interesting question, right? Because ECNL Regional League, for example, which is one of the teams I coached this year, was in that league. We're playing in the Mountain Conference, so it's teams from Colorado, teams from Idaho, and teams from Utah. So we had to travel twice, once in November, once in December. Plus, then they're high school age kids, so then they have to go to showcases again in November, December, and January. So, right, they're high school kids. These are already really demanding times of the year.
Yeah.
We're training 3 days a week, and if we do anything extra, that's something else. And then there's double headers on most weekends too. So I think the demands, while the intention is good and we want to give kids the opportunity to play, I don't think they're sustainable in the direction that we're going as a country. How do you fix that? I don't know, right? Because then club soccer is the pipeline into college and professional, right? And those demands are even higher. But you can also argue that college soccer programs and pro soccer programs have more resources to support athletes. And club soccer, it's kind of like you have to find the club that's willing to do those things or know somebody who knows somebody. So I do see a lot of burnout, especially in the juniors and seniors that I coach that are capable of playing college soccer and are maybe thinking about it. But then they're like, I don't know, I've been doing it for so long. Is college soccer going to be more of the same? And that's totally fine, right? But I do think we are doing ourselves a little bit of a disservice because there are so many colleges with successful programs or even just competitive programs where kids should be able to go and play if they want to. So I do think the demands of club soccer turn some people off from a long-term career in soccer. But it is interesting because then you see that we do develop really good soccer players, really good athletes. So kind of where's the balance in that?
Right, exactly.
That's hard, especially to separate that difference from, wanting to be that competitive, D1 player versus, maybe the JUCO person that just wants to play.
Right.
And then, like, what depends on, what do you need to do different? What do you need to take away to, like, balance everything? That's hard.
It's a lot.
To think about.
Yeah.
For sure. So soccer is still a very male-dominant in many ways. What challenges have you faced as a female coach and leader, and how does your company kind of aim to fix this experience for younger females players?
Oh, I laugh because when I was a head college coach in Baltimore, how old was I? I was 23, 24 years old, okay? Pretty fresh out of my grad program. And I had 2 assistants that I hired. One was a year younger than me. She played college soccer at Loyola University in Maryland, so she was a D1 player. And then the other assistant we had was a guy. We went to college together, and he just ended up working at the school that I was at. So he was a part-time assistant, and he was like, yeah, like, we're friends. I'll help you out.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, great. And his job was supposed to be more operations, right? Like, scheduling things, getting food, making sure we had all the stuff we needed, whatever, like, really just chill guy. Almost every game we had that season,
oh boy,
the refs would go up to him and just assume that he was the head coach.
You're like, this is the water boy, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And thankfully he was so chill about it, and we were such good friends that he was like, no, I'm not in charge. Like, you want to go talk to Lexi.
Yeah.
But, like, that's just one of the biggest things. And I was like, whoa, like, that's wild to me. And even then, working in just, like, the ODP space was interesting this past January. We go to ODP, you go to championships. So we're at the Far West Championships. It's Colorado, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, California, all that stuff. And the staff that I was on, it was me and 2 other females coaching against other males, right? And the refs are like, who's the coach? What's going on? Like, who's in charge? And we're like we are, right? Like, I've got my B license, so second highest license you can get in U.S. soccer. Our other coach played on the Icelandic national team like dozens of times, and like was a D1 athlete. Like,
like, we know what we're talking about.
You can talk to them if you want.
We're not just like Joe Schmoes showing up and go kick the ball, girls. So,
oh gosh,
the challenges, I think, there's always a little extra to prove, right? That you know what you're talking about. You understand the game. And even, I think, at the professional level, women are still doing that. There was a story that broke this weekend about a team in the Bundesliga in Germany that has their first female head coach. She's the first female head coach in the Bundesliga.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
But she's interim because she was an assistant, and the head coach got fired. So she's interim until the end of the season. I hope they
promote her to
keep
head
her
coach.
on.
Yeah,
They give her a full-time contract. But even that, right? It's 2026, and Germany, I would argue, is a little more socially advanced than the U.S. is. But there are no female coaches. Yeah.
Wow.
So, there's always a little chip on your shoulder to prove yourself.
We're proud to celebrate women who lead on and off the court. Nico Stones welcomes new brand ambassador Sophie Ziddell, a standout basketball player at the University of Colorado. Her exclusive edits is all about confidence, strength, and the style that moves with you. Support women in sports and shop Sophie's limited collection now at nicostones.com.
Yeah, sure. It's tough being a woman in sports.
Yeah.
Always.
Definitely.
So, it'll always be there, But let's go back to kind of the mental performance side of things with your company. So how are you incorporating that into your approach with Full Circle Futbol? Like you mentioned Jess and everything, but...
Outside of Jess, so my business partner, my friend, colleague, whatever you want to call her, Julia Kendrick, her and I are both very intentional about the environments that we create, which is why we work so well together. So some of the things that I've done in the soccer world that I hope to bring over are, we do a little gratitude circle sometimes before training, right? Just to remind the players that, there are other things besides soccer, and like your ability to play soccer is, while it is something that is demanding and pressure filled, it's also a privilege, right? Like, because not everybody can do that. We do a lot of reflections at the end of practice, or at least I do, right? Like, what did you like? What didn't you like? What could you have done better? Try to set goals for the weeks too. And that's where the IDPs will come in for the players, is setting monthly goals for them to just like track things and stay intentional about what they're doing. And then one of the things we're going to do too is I'm a I'm going to say it wrong. I'm a Duktig ambassador. So that is a company started by Adelaide Gay and Tiffany Weimer.
Okay.
Adelaide is a professional soccer player in Scotland right now. And Tiffany plays in WPSL, coaches in Connecticut. They're really, really cool people, but they started a company. Really, it was just like create coaching notebooks initially is my understanding of it, but now they've grown it into this really cool thing. There's a really cool community of folks that are part of it. But one of the books that they've developed is a player development like journal type of thing. And so players we're going to get some, we'll give them to the players that sign up, and you can track like, you know, how are all your practices, how are your games, what are your goals, and like rate themselves. So then they're keeping track of, you know, what they think, because perception is such a funny thing with teenagers, right? They think they did something wrong and that it's the end of the world. And my big question is always like, well, what's your evidence for that? Right. And then most of the time they can't think of anything. So I'm like, so take a deep breath and relax. Like, you're fine.
It's okay.
You're fine. But yeah, just a lot of that grounding stuff and like intentionality around what they're doing, and then reflecting on ways to get better.
Yeah. For sure. And why is that so important in the game? Why do you need that mental side of things as much as physical?
I mean, soccer is just it's a random sport is how people describe it, right? One game is never going to be the same as another.
That's a good way to put it.
So a player's ability to adapt is almost as important as their ability to execute technically, right? I would actually argue it's more important, because if a player makes a mistake in like the 10th minute, their team gets scored on, whatever, but then they're thinking about that for the next 80 minutes of the game, like they're not going to be effective.
They're done for.
Yeah.
Right. And in pro, college ball, like even some of these national platforms, once you get subbed off, you're subbed off for the rest of the half. You can't go back in. Pro game, like you're subbed off, you're done. So their ability to bounce back from mistakes is super important. And even then, just like, how do you grind through tough situations? Like, you're in a 0-0 draw, it's raining, you're miserable, you're cold and you're wet, but how are you going to push through to do what you need to do to help your team win, right? So yeah, there's a lot of ways that mental performance helps, especially goalkeepers. You have to be like a goldfish when you're a goalkeeper.
Oh my gosh.
gosh.
Otherwise, you just blame it all on yourself every two times.
Oh, yeah. That was
goal.
Probably the toughest thing for me to learn as a goalkeeper.
I know. Did you ever have a coach or something that kind of helped you get through that? You know, because you think that you're the only one that makes the mistake, obviously, but it's a whole team sport. How did you kind of conquer that?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I was in high school, my coach, Jim Bruno, was probably the first one to really help me individually as a player start to work through, like, okay, you make a mistake, how do you bounce back from that type of thing? And I remember it was my sophomore year. It was tryouts my sophomore year. And I thought I had a really good freshman year, right? Started on JV, whatever. So I was like, yeah, the varsity goalkeeper left. There's only one of them. Like, I'll for sure make varsity.
Right.
I did not make varsity.
Tragic. You were probably just like,
I was just like, what is this? But then, like, throughout the season, like, he obviously continued to check on me, all of that stuff. And then I had a really cool opportunity to jump into the championship game my sophomore year, because the varsity starter wasn't eligible for that game. And like, the work that he had done with me leading up to the game and throughout the season is what gave me the confidence to go into that game and be able to perform. I made like two huge saves. Had never really played with that team other than a couple of like appearances here or there. And we ended up winning. But that for me was probably like the coolest thing, right? Like, you start the season, you're not where you want to be, but then the coach like still checks in, believes in you, and then you get your moment and you rise to it, and that's that.
The hard work paid off.
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, going into, so at Fandy Nation, we always want to make sure everyone's seen. How does being seen mean to you, and why is that important?
That's a really good question. The first thing I think of when you ask that question is like making sure my athletes are seen, right? And that they're getting the recognition that they deserve. And I think I just found out recently this past weekend, so the team I coached this year was supposed to be 07 and 08 because they do birth year in soccer. Okay. It's changing this next year, but mostly seniors and then some juniors. Well, the team structure ended up being a little different because we didn't have enough seniors and juniors interested in the team or like that could play at the level. So then we put some 2009s on the team. So that was a super interesting mix to begin with.
Right.
But then a lot of them at the beginning of the season, we had IDP meetings, and I was just like, what is your goal? Like, what do you want to get out of the season? And most of them said, I want to make varsity at my high school. And a lot of them hadn't done that before, which I thought was really interesting and telling. But anyways, to make a long story short, all of the ones that wanted to make varsity at their high school made varsity.
Oh,
I found out this weekend.
Wait, that is so awesome.
That's awesome.
So like for me, like
That's a big accomplishment.
That's for me. I'm like I'm proud of them. I love that for them, and I'm like that's all I need to know is that they're going where they want to go, and doing the things that they want to do. Yeah, I can be really shy, honestly.
It's rewarding.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But for myself to be seen, I think I don't know. I just like being told good job and. We go about our business and we keep doing what we're doing, but maybe that's the Enneagram 3 in me. I don't know. That's what my partner says. Yeah, they're like, funny. You're never satisfied with what you do. So I'm like, well, it's
you're
fun.
hungry for more.
Yeah, I just like to do a lot of things.
I'm not done yet.
I'm just an athlete. It's
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. I'm sorry I'm not playing, but I'm still an athlete. That's how we all feel too.
Yeah.
We're just living on to the glory days.
Absolutely.
You make it into something you appreciate and you're, and you're passionate about, and then it becomes something real. So we're super excited to hear about Full Circle Futbol and where it can go.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Lexi, thank you so much. Can you tell everyone where to find you and the launch date for Full Circle Futbol as well?
Ooh, yeah. So, Full Circle Futbol launch. We're going to launch our website May 1. Programming will launch June 1. So that's a Monday. We're coming up on it.
Yeah,
pretty
getting
soon.
around the corner.
But our website's going to be fullcirclefutbol.com. Football is FUTBOL. Trying to be European with
Football,
it.
yeah.
And we're getting ready to launch all the socials and things next week.
Okay.
So we'll be on Instagram, X, maybe Facebook. We'll see. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn. That's how Mike found me.
There we go.
Yeah, but we're really excited. Going to do a lot of word of mouth marketing to start. Maybe some Google ads here or there, but really just want to make sure the right people find us, and so we can give them a good experience, help them develop.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Well, if you guys are listening, make sure to definitely check it out and be around June 1st and May 1st. Boom. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lexi. It was great having you here.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you next time. This was The Talk.